Well, everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On this rainy day today, I'm going to attempt to make one of these. Actually, hopefully more than just one of these. A jar of jelly. Not just any jelly, but jelly that we have made from the fruit that we have foraged off our farm. Now, this will be my first time making jelly solo mio, so we'll see how it goes. So come along. So I'm not going to be as sexist as to say that this is Kelly's job and not mine. But generally, here on the homestead, we kind of fall into two camps. I work primarily on the outside front end stuff, and she works on the finished products. I kind of think of myself as the rigger, she's the trigger. I grow it, raise it, she cooks it, and makes it edible. So this is kind of new for me. I want to understand the process better. And I think it's going to give me a better appreciation for the work that goes into the back end of it. When you grow it or when you raise it, you see that front end. But when it comes time to preserve it, to store it, to make sure it lasts as long as possible, I don't have as good appreciation for that. So I'm going to dive in and take this on head first today. Kelly's going to be in the wings, but so if I need help, I can phone a friend. but I'm going to try to do this solo. So to say this is just totally wild forage, I guess, needs to be explained a little bit. We have on the property excuse me, I'm talking. We have on the property one wild plum tree that is quite prolific. And wild plums, of course, don't get very big. They've got a pretty good sized stone in them. But they are really, really flavorful. And once they've been reduced, they can turn into great jellies and, of course, anything else. And then we also have elderberry. Now, on our property, we have both tame cultivars that we've planted back in the garden, but I've also propagated in the last several years just what I call West Virginia wild, and it's just the elderberry variety that grows all over the eastern seaboard. Actually, most of the eastern part of the country, I guess, and been able to propagate those and transplant those propagations throughout the property so that we're getting more and more harvest each year. And actually right now, this time of year, time of recording this, it's December. Now's the time, if you know where some elderberry plants are, now's the time to go take those cuttings, stick them in the ground or stick them in your nursery bed. So this spring they'll be able to grow. I've got a video here if you want to see us detailing that, how we do that. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, we're going to take all the elderberries that I harvested and these are just all our wild variety elderberries. We're going to reduce those down, make some jelly. I think we're going to make some jelly out of the plum as well. The first thing I need to do is take my big pot, get this elderberry reduced, and then I got to pit those plums. Do all that by hand, and so that'll take a while. So my elderberries are frozen because we just harvest them a little at a time as they become ripe and just toss them in the freezer. And the neat thing about that, I toss them in the freezer with stems and everything. And once the berries are frozen, it's so much easier to pull the berries off of the stems without crushing them. So that's kind of a neat way to do it. I'm just putting a little bit of water in the bottom of our stock pan since these are frozen so that I don't scald the bottom of the stock pan. Now, some of y'all wouldn't agree, but I remember my mom making elderberry jelly when I was a kid, and she would get most of the stems off, but the little tiny stems that are purple in color that attach directly to the berry, she wouldn't go crazy about trying to separate those because they actually have their purple color. They actually have some of the fruit juice in them, and since we're going to strain this thoroughly through cheesecloth, it's not that big of a deal. It'd be different if we were making jam and we were actually leaving some of the fruit in it, which I wouldn't recommend with elderberry since it's got so many seeds. So if you see some stems, don't freak out. Now for these plums, I'm just simply pinching the flesh, squeezing out the pit, and doing it all by hand. If we get into this more, then we'll get one of those pitters. We'll squeeze juice all over ourselves too. That's why I put on an old shirt. So I thought I could cheat here. I thought I was being really clever and use this hand crank sieve, whatever this thing's called, that Kelly uses when she processes tomatoes. The problem is the elderberry seeds are just the right size that they squeeze through the little holes with pressure. And I shot seeds all over the place, my shirt, the wall, everything. All right, so from that one bowl of elderberries, that one pot, we are just a cat's whisker under 2 liters, I believe there. So what this is? And for all those people that do it right, that is almost exactly 2 quarts or 8 cups. So that'll actually make 2 recipes of jelly based on the recipe I'm using. But we're going to see what we're going to use on that. All right, so let's turn to our plums. I boiled it down. It actually, stuff gets thick. I believe, if I'm correct, there is a lot of pectin in plums, so really keeps it thick. So for those of you wondering where my lovely bride is, she is actually right behind you all. Say hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
We have dinner guests tonight, so we're trying to get prepared for that. And by dinner guests, that's a snooty way of saying we're just having some friends over for pizza. So Kelly's taking care of that kind of stuff. And am I getting the stink eye because I'm keeping the kitchen dirty? Anyway. All right, so we've got our plums strained, and this is really pretty thick stuff. I like that tartness. But I even put a cup and a half of water in it when we boiled it down, try to thin it a little bit, and I could keep doing that, but I think we're going to stick with this and see what we get. Got my jars getting sterilized for water bath canning, and now I'm going to prepare my elderberry concoction. You know, this obviously isn't my forte, but I think it's something that's really important for me to understand how to do. You know, this is Kelly's wheelhouse, but I think it's important for me to understand how to do this. A, it's good knowledge, but B, just the appreciation of all the hard work she puts in when she's in here. I think I'd rather run the mill for half a day than do this, because this seems to be a lot more hard work. So hopefully it'll turn out. All right, so this recipe calls for 3 cups of elderberry juice. Trying to be scientific here. 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And this amount that just amazes me of 4.5 cups of sugar. There's a low sugar or no sugar option, obviously, but I wouldn't look like I do if I used low sugar. Now I'm using liquid pectin, so it's my understanding we put that in after we've come to a boil. If it was powdered pectin, then we put it in now. Right now. Mic battery went dead. Totally realized I did the order of operation wrong there, so we'll see how this turns out. I was supposed to put the sugar after the first boil came up. This is a double pack of pectin. Double pack of pectin. Ah. Yeah, that was a bummer. That jar just shattered. The bottom just came out of it. That's really a drag, man. All right, so I got round 2 over here on the pot. Let's see if we can get all the jars out of this one. So it looks like we got exactly 3 cups of plum juice. And that pulp, and that's potent. It's almost a shame to throw that out, but we're going to. Oh man, I got busy recording my intro. Do things out of sequence and forgot I had my plum. Yeah, that's hot. Jelly. It was supposed to only be in there for a minute, and I think I took probably 5 minutes to do my intro. So we shall see what we have produced here. So my second batch of elderberry is almost done in the water bath. Would that be water bathing? It's almost done water bathing? Water bathing? There's the plum. Love the color of that. Yeah, there's obviously no coloring added. Alrighty, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 8-ounce jars of elderberry. And then one, I think that's a 12-ounce. It's one 12-ounce jar. So what is that? 10, 8, 80 ounces, about 90 ounces of elderberry jelly. And then 48 ounces of, yeah, a little short. Some of those are not all the way full, of the plum jelly. But what I'm going to do is in the morning before church, I'm going to sit down, have some toast, and maybe get the boys involved too. Well, I think Liam has to work in the morning. We'll see who can get involved to come down and do a taste test of with some toast. Cam's got some French bread he made yesterday, so we'll let them be the judge of that. But our guests are about to show up, and I promised Kelly that I would mop the kitchen floor. And after that elderberry fiasco, I think that's the least I can do. So I'll catch you guys in the morning, okay? Okay, so it's the next morning, and everything is cooled down, and I may be 1 for 2. So looking at the plum, it's all gelled nicely. Looks pretty nice. I put a jar of each in the fridge last night for our taste test, but I've noticed that all of my elderberry, I don't know if you can see that, all of my elderberry is still liquid. So I have made a mistake there. I know that plums have a lot of natural pectin in them, so I'm believing what I did, because the recipes were identical. Believing what I did is the pectin I put in, Sure Gel pectin that I put in, was adequate for the amount of pectin that was already in the plum, but inadequate for what was in the elderberry. So all of my elderberry is still liquid. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my mother. I'm blessed to be able to still do that. At 50 years old, I can still call my mother and ask her. I think, and she'll be able to confirm that maybe I can put all this back into a pot, heat it up again, add more Sure Gel, and then try to recan. So we'll see. I'll comment later this week if that's what happens in the video instead of doing another video following up. But yeah, so it's a good learning experience, right? So being able to figure out those little nuances, and you go by an online recipe and you think, okay, this is gonna do it. I have trouble following written directions. I've been that way for a very, very long time. Somewhere my first grade teacher is going, yes, knew it. But I really enjoyed this process, even though it not 100% turned out, and I think it could be salvaged. But it really gives me a much better appreciation for the work that goes into this side of it. And if I'm raising food, whether it's helping Kelly in the garden or raising the protein side, or I like really doing a lot more of the perennial stuff, there's value in that, of course, but the real value comes to when you can preserve it, when you can prepare it, when you can do the things, be able to do those things that you need to do to be able to store the food, so you have that stockpile, so you have that resource. So it definitely has shown more light into that subject. So, well, comment below and let me know what you guys think. Maybe you have some suggestions on how to fix my elderberry. Pray y'all have a great week. Thanks for watching. Take care.